Village.
That's correct, yes.
And through the Red Cross, I learned of your generosity at Juniper Village in opening your doors to a group of people nearby who were burned out of their homes.
That is correct, yes.
And that's a fairly recent happening. And we just wanted to somehow say thank you and recognize your generosity and your heartfelt assistance to people in need. It speaks volumes for your organization. And so that's why we asked you to come here today, and we have a certificate of appreciation we'd like to present to you. But first, would you like to tell a little more about what happened that day?
Well, basically, our neighbors, YWAM, which is an organization that we've been working with for several years, individuals come as missionaries, basically, and they come to Juniper to try to improve their English speaking. And so they actually sit with a lot of our residents and our workers and things of that nature. So unfortunately, the day that it happened, it was very early in the morning after 10, and we saw the white smoke going up, and we knew that something tragic was going to be happening. So we, as neighbors, I just went out, I spoke to two ladies who had come to make them lunch and realized, oh, these poor individuals, we're not going to have anything, and we could tell by the flames it was going to be a pretty drastic change in their life. So I just felt that, I went over and talked to many of the individuals, and at that point I think there was 13 to 15 residents that were staying there. And they were from all over. They were from Vietnam, they were from Japan, from Nicaragua, from Venezuela, from Colombia, and we had met several of these young individuals. So I basically went over and just opened Juniper to them, knowing that they would not have anything. They were sitting on individuals' lawns, things of that nature. So I invited them to come over just to kind of regroup and have a place, get them cell phones so that they could call home, let individuals know what was happening, find chargers, because most of them ran out with their cell phone but no chargers. So just to try to comfort them, provided lunch for them, and really provided, Joellen, I know you've been in our club, and provide them just an area where they could sit, they could talk, they could just try to regroup somehow. And I know the Red Cross, we had offered for them to come too instead of being in their cars. So it was just a nice place that they could stay for 7-8 hours and be together, pray together, and realize what was happening and occurring, try to make those plans for the next several days. So that's what happened that day. And then we did stay in contact with Ben, he's the director there, and tried to help them with the massive amounts of laundry that they needed, that they were able to salvage some of those things. So just to stay in contact with them, just to see how else we could help them. So.
You're truly good Samaritans reaching out like that, and you've set a wonderful example for the rest of the community. I think that in general we pull together after a disaster, but you just drove the nail in and let us all know this is what it's all about. We should do this every day.
We should do this every day. They are our neighbors, and I know one of my staff members asked me, why did you do this? I mean, because they just saw me walking across, across the lawn and such, and I always think of my mother, who always said, if there's something to be done, go ahead and do it. Don't wait for someone to ask, or don't wait for someone to tell you. So I think that's always been in my career, to do those types of things. In my own mind, I just did what seemed to be needed, and but I do appreciate you calling and offering this.
Well, thank you. Then at this time, I think we'll make a presentation